Welcome back to the Elise Surkoff podcast. I am really excited about this episode because I say this all the time in our FFWE community. And if you follow me on social, you've likely heard me say this before, which is everything counts. What do I mean by that? It means everything counts. Now, if you are someone who's done Weight Watchers, raise your hand. We've all done it. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s, chances are we were in the same meeting together. I did Weight Watchers when I was 14, 13 years old. I feel like my whole age demographic grew up with Weight Watchers and counting points. And it fucked us up because it made us believe that like not everything counts, right? There's some things that are 0 points, they don't count. Or, some other diets are like green food, red foods. Green foods, you can have as many as you want. You can have as many veggies as you want. They don't count. You can have as much blank as celery because it's negative calories. It doesn't count. So let me just start by saying everything counts. And this is so important because you are likely telling yourself a narrative that just isn't true anymore and it's holding you back. So if you are feeling frustrated, you don't know why you can't lose weight, you don't know why you can't sustain the changes that you're making, you're struggling right now in perimenopause, you don't know why, no one seems to be listening to you, you feel like you're pulling your hair out, I want you to stop, take a deep breath, sit down, have a cup of coffee with me. And just understand, I'm going to shine this mirror at you once again. Everything counts. Everything you do counts. Everything you don't do counts. Everything you eat counts. Everything that you don't eat counts. Everything that you say to yourself counts. Every thought that you pull into your head counts. Every time that you say no to something, that counts. Okay. So if we think about, your life savings, your RSP contribution, whatever it is, wherever you are, you're saving for your retirement. You don't just say, hey, I'm going to save $100,000 or $200,000 for my retirement, and I'm just going to put that in, right? Here's 200K. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in right now. Here's another 500 grand. Here's 40. I'm just going to throw it all in there. Nobody does that, right? It's like we split it up into smaller increments so that we can, every paycheck we get, we put a little bit in. And if you've got kids, you're likely saving for college or university, right? I know we started saving for kids' university, Albert and I, like when they were born. And of course, Albert is very money savvy in terms of investments and being conservative. And so, I mean, each kid had that university investment set up immediately. And it was like, we're going to put $10. And now there's $10 that's in that account that is ready for them for university. And it's like $10. Like university costs thousands and thousands of dollars. It's like, yeah, but we're putting a little bit in for long-term investment. Okay. So it's the exact same thing when you're looking at making changes to your body or to your habits or anything in perimenopause or menopause, because your narrative needs to change. You are thinking one thing and doing another. You know that this shit doesn't happen overnight, but yet you expect it to. So you don't think it really matters that you're eating a little taste off of, the dish when you're eating it. I know for me, I'm not a huge fish lover. Like if you take me out for dinner, I'm not going to be like, let's get a piece of fish. But I love making air fried salmon. I love it. It's like thick salmon, air bites. I don't know. I put it in the air fryer. I love it. And when I'm making it and I make, air fried salmon bowls, it's like my kids like it. It's one of the few meals that like everybody seems to really like, and it's really easy to do. And I make it in stages. So I make the first half and everyone gets, and then the second half is mine and what, not the whole thing, but I like to eat last, AKA I like my food to be as hot as possible. I want it to like burn. Okay. That's how I like my food, my coffee, my French fries. It's gotta be like so hot that I can't talk. Okay. So I am typically like my food goes out last and then boom, everyone's got to eat. But what happens is as I'm making it and I'm, putting bowls out for everybody in my family, the salmon is so good that I'm eating it. And I'm like, hey, if my goal is to have 4 ounces of salmon with my food, I've just had 2 ounces eating off everyone else's plates without even realizing it. Cause I'm like, this shit is so good. And then guess what happens? It's my turn to put 4 ounces in my bowl. And I put 4 ounces in my bowl. Am I going to put 2 ounces? No, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It's just fish, right? It's like we can maintain our bodies, our physiques, our goals. Well, guess what? It counts. I don't care if it's protein. I don't care if it's vegetables. I don't care if it's whatever you're telling yourself that doesn't count. Every single thing counts. When your kids don't finish their meals and you finished yours and you decide to eat the rest of their macaroni, their chicken fingers, their rice, their veggie, whatever it is, that shit counts too. I once had a client who she had three little kids and she was a stay-at-home mom and really super active. All right. So like under eater, trying to lose weight, so active. So she was like, we call it like athlete mentality, dieter mindset. So she's very, very active, but had the mindset of a dieter. So she was under eating. So we pulled her calories up. She did weight, her body changed until it stopped. All of a sudden, like she kind of like hit this really big plateau and she started kind of gaining weight. And I'm like, I don't understand. It was a head scratcher. And I realized that she was under a lot of stress. Of course, the seasons changed. So she wasn't as active because she wasn't pushing strollers the same anymore. She was at home more, inside, driving more than walking. But I realized that she wasn't counting all the bites, licks, and tastes, the BLTs in her life. So little bites off the kids' plates, a little lick of things, yep, I'm going to have a little lick of your ice cream here, a little bit of taste of that here. And so what I had her do for 1 week was only track her BLTs, only track bites, licks, and tastes. Don't track anything else. Track all the little things that you don't think counts. Guess how many calories she was eating per day on average, just in those little things? 400 calories. If you're going to eat 400 calories over your maintenance every single day, girl, you're going to gain weight and you're not going to understand how. I mean, I'm notorious for doing this because I love putting my spoon in the peanut butter jar. I can easily eat 400 calories in like 2 or 3 spoonfuls. That shit's so easy. Give me a bag of popcorners and I'm going over 1,000. In fact, once, this was in my days of sitting in the Costco parking lot, really going to town on those popcorners. I wondered how much I truly ate because I didn't think it was a lot. And I remember telling myself it wasn't that much. The bag's not that big. I mean, again, it's a Costco size bag. If you've never shopped at Costco, let me tell you, those motherfucker bags are massive. And so I thought, I know exactly how much I've eaten because I can weigh the bag and see how much is left. You'll never guess how much I ate. I ate, and this was in 20 minutes of sitting in the parking lot by myself in silence, scrolling on my phone. I ate 1,000 calories of popcorners. Let that sink in for a second. I did that myself with all that I know. I mean, it was a while ago at this point, but these are in my days of like, but I eat so healthy, but I don't understand why I can't lose weight because I sat and ate 1,000 calories of popcorners in 20 minutes because I didn't think it counted because I had just taught 3 classes, trained some clients, and went to Costco starving. And so I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I can eat whatever I want. And popcorners, it's like, 200 calories for like 1,000 popcorners. No, it's not. It's 1,000 calories for all that I shoved down my throat without intention, without even realizing it, feeling really shameful and guilty after, and a little bit sick to my stomach. 1,000 calories. And I didn't think it counted. Like my client who ate 400 calories just on bites, licks, and tastes, she didn't think any of those things counted. So if you're not understanding why things aren't moving for you, why your physique isn't changing, why your hormones are so out of whack, why you feel like shit, stop for a second and tell yourself that every single thing you do counts. Okay, this is on the weight loss journey. Let's talk about exercise, for example. Every little thing you do counts. So when you go to the gym, even when you don't want to, that counts. You're putting a penny into your RSP, into your retirement fund right there, into your longevity, into my goal when I'm 90 is to wipe my own butt. Okay. So when you go to the gym, even when you don't want to, it counts. And when you go to the gym, when you're really tired, it counts. And when you go to the gym and you are feeling a little sick, but you still do it anyways and you modify it, that shit counts too. And I'm not telling you to go when you're sick. Don't come at me. All right. But I think we are just full of excuses. And if you have kids and you live in a cold climate, guess what, honey? You're going to be sick quite a bit. I mean, I know when my kids were little and they were in daycare, it was just like sickness after sickness. If I let that stop me, I would just be nowhere near the gym. The other thing is like, sometimes you don't realize what your feedback is on being sick. So COVID is a perfect example. When I actually had COVID, I felt really good. I just had a little cough but I kept testing negative and I felt fine. I felt strong as fuck. And I went to the gym and I hit PBs for 4 straight days. And then I remember I was on a call with a client and my throat started hurting me in ways I had never experienced before. And I went and I did another test and then I was obviously positive. So from that point on, I stopped going to the gym because I was a hot mess. So the point being is that ask yourself, like, how bad is it? Do you have a little sniffle? Do you have a little cough? I mean, if you have a cough, you're going to have a cough for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. That shit lingers. So what are you going to do instead? Are you just going to use it as an excuse because that counts? Guess what else counts? It's how you speak to yourself. How you talk to yourself counts. Are you giving yourself a lot of excuses? Are you too hard on yourself? Are you shaming yourself? Because that shit counts. What about saying no to the second helping of something? What about saying no to going out for drinks when you've committed to not drinking? What about saying no to the buffet, the all you can eat buffet? Because you know that like the food is shit anyways, and all you do is ending overeating crappy food. Instead, you're like, hey, I'm going to stand up for myself and I'm going to go to this restaurant, or I'm going to go meet my friend for a hike or for a walk or for coffee instead. What about not putting double double in your coffee? So if you're from Canada, we do double double here at Tim Hortons. That's like double cream, double sugar. And by the way, if you don't say anything else, Tim Hortons will default your order of coffee to double double, double cream, double sugar. I mean, come on. That's a ton of shit that you don't even know is in there. And then you're still wondering why I'm not losing weight. I had a client once also who was like not losing weight, couldn't figure it out, was tracking everything. I was like scratching my head, like, I don't know what is happening here. And I said, you know what? Do me a solid and take a picture of every single thing you're eating and send it to me. Okay. So she was tracking vegetable soup that was about 500 calories. She found like a regular entry in MyFitnessPal, put it in 500 calories. When I saw this fucking vegetable soup, I almost dropped my phone. This soup had a shit ton of beans. Hello, that's amazing. Beans are great, fiber, protein, but a ton of calories, ton of carbs. And not that carbs are bad. Also had a whole fucking layer of cheese on top of it that was melted on. This soup was easily 15 to 1600 calories at least. And she was tracking it as 500. So just because you think it's one thing doesn't mean it's not. It's just vegetable soup. I had another client who was like, our goal was like, let's not eat out. Let's make our own food for 1 week and see how we feel. And she swore to me that she was eating her own food until we really got into it. And she confessed that she had bought a salad from a restaurant or whatever. But so what? It was a chicken salad. And I'm like, dude, it's still not something you made. Everything that's in there wasn't made by you. So palatably, you're going to have more shit in there so that you keep buying it again. Okay. So you think it doesn't count because it's vegetable soup, because it's a salad. But in reality, every single thing counts. So if you are struggling and you don't know why, everything you do, you have to remember is going to count. Okay, you're going to probably come at me and say, but Elise, this is so restrictive and this isn't how I want to live and it becomes an obsession. And I'm like, yeah. But let me shine the light in another area here that might make more sense for you. Imagine that you're trying to earn a living, raise a family, stay in a house, stay warm, clothed, whatever it is. Would you say the same thing to me if I told you to be responsible for your budget and say every single penny you spend matters? So if you're going to go spend money on your nails and your hair and stupid shit you don't need instead of clothes for your kids, food for dinner, and mortgage payments, you're going to tell me, but that's so obsessive, or, oh my gosh, but I have to track everything. Hello, welcome to being an adult. It's called being responsible, and everything you spend counts. And guess what? Everything you don't spend counts. When you go and you don't buy that thing you don't need, that fucking counts. Does it suck because you've got to sit in your like, but I really wanted that? Yes. It's the same thing when it comes to your physique and nutrition and all the things I just talked about. It's going to suck to have to sit in it and tell yourself no. So you can throw the, but it's obsessive card at me, or you can flip your script and say it's intentional. And when you become intentional and you realize that everything counts, that's when you really start to make changes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Of course, you can learn more about me and FFWE and all that we do to help you on Instagram, Facebook at Functionally Fit with Elise, or on my website, functionallyfitwithelise.com. We got lots of freebies on there. Go ahead and grab them. And as a reminder, the information provided on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.